This video is going to be about solving inequalities, and these will be involving multiplication and division. And I'm going to just talk to you and remind you to flip the sign when you multiply or divide by a negative number. Right? Let's try going over the basic rule. Solving inequalities is just like solving equations. You're going to isolate the variable by using inverse operations. Those are the ones that are opposites of what you're trying to undo, in the reverse order of the order of operations. So since we're talking about multiplication and division, we're going to be using multiplication and division to undo multiplication and division. Let's get started. I only have 5 minutes for these videos, so I'm going to see how many of these 4 I can get done. And we're going to solve and graph all 4 of these, or as many as I can get done. So the first one is 3x is greater than 16. Well, since it's 3 times x, I want to use division to undo it. And whatever I do to one side, I need to do to the other, just like a normal equation. And these two 3's are going to cancel each other out. And I'm going to be left with 1x is greater than 16 thirds. Now for graphing purposes, it might be easier to go ahead and change that to 5 and 1/3. And just the most simple graph to show what this represents is to include the 0, the point 5 1/3, which of course should be to the right of the 0. And then I'm going to go ahead and use an open circle because it's a greater than sign. And now because I'm talking about values of x that are greater than 5 1/3, I'm going to shade to the right. And that's all you have to do. There's a variety of ways to shade, and I'm using it on the line. Some people go above the line and over. I'll do that on the next one. Okay, you'll notice that this next one, number 2, x is being multiplied by -5, or let me put another way, the coefficient of x is -5. So to undo that, we're going to have to divide both sides by -5. Now here's the key. When you reverse multiplication and division by multiplying or dividing by a negative, you have to remember to flip the symbol. And we're talking about this part of the symbol, the less than or greater than. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the less than into a greater than. If I have an or equal to part, this little vertical horizontal line, I'm going to keep it. Then I'm going to go ahead and simplify. These two -5's cancel out. I'm left with x is greater than or equal to -13/5. Well, I'm going to go ahead and simplify that to -2 3/5. All right, so on a number line, I'm going to go ahead and at least graph my 0 and my -2 3/5. And that's the minimum you need to graph. Your teacher may want you to do more than that. And I'm going to go ahead and graph it by putting a solid circle on here. And that's due to my inequality symbol having an or equal to. And then I'm going to shade the greater than direction. I'm going to go up and over for this one. A lot of people do that. And when I put an arrowhead on the end of it, just indicate that this answer really goes on for infinity. And that means that every point, including -2 3/5, and all the points to the right of it, satisfy this inequality, and they make this a true statement. Let's do one more. Now this is a x divided by -5, which is division. So to undo that, I need to do multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by -5, and that's going to turn this into, once I cancel these two out, x. Oh, I got to remember to flip my symbol because I divided by a negative. So x is less than or equal to -10. Now to graph this, at a minimum I need my 0 and my -10. And I'm going to use a solid circle. And I'll just go ahead and it's less than, so I'm going to go this way. And I'm going to make sure and put a little arrowhead there. And I think we might have time for one more. This is division